The piercing you feel is not just in your own lobes, it's in everybody's lobes, because we're piercing through the podcast clutter of Star Trekdom to bring you what we think is the preeminent and best Star Trek Deep Space Nine podcast, Audio Hoo-Mons, with your host, Brian.
And Alex.
Thanks so much, Brian. Thank you. And Audio Hoo-Mons is a simple podcast, folks. We love DS9, and we come at it from two different directions with two different people. And here's the difference. Alex was watching the show first run, eating it up every second of it, every time it was on, and then watching it in reruns every year and thinking about it and sleeping on it and dreaming on it and all that stuff.
Ryan was on deployment most of the time of the original airing, so I caught it when I could, but did not have the opportunity to see it as religiously or watch as religiously as my good friend Alex. So now we are able to get together, rewatch the episodes or watch it for the first time for many of them for me, and then we'll get together and we talk through it.
Talk Trek, as we say.
That's right. So this week
we're going to take 2 tickets and go to
Paradiso,
the Cinema Paradiso.
Yes, an interesting episode. Before we jump in, also wanted to just ask all the listeners for a chance to win and for a chance to be on our podcast. We had one of those aired last week and may air some additional excerpts this week. Just take your phone if you have I'm sure you do have a memo function, an audio memo function on your phone. Record a memo, 30 seconds or so, where you just say your name, where you're from, and just tell us what your favorite DS9 episode is, and maybe in 15 to 30 seconds why you like it. It's funny. It's poignant. It reminds me of a relationship I have, or this had a character actor that I loved in some other show, and it was just fantastic seeing them in explore the Trek universe. Whatever that reason may be, just let us know.
Yeah, you may have heard Mike Finney do his bit recently, an episode back. And he took his time, and it sounds lovely, and we love to hear your voices. It's so interesting because we know so many of you via social media, and we know your avatars and that kind of thing, but we don't really know your faces that well, and we don't know your voices, so it's really wonderful. And I think Finney has a deeper voice than I expected.
He does.
He really does. It's lovely. He's a lovely person, though. Okay, well, today, without further ado, we've asked you to do that. Don't forget, we do plan towards the end of the summer. If you're not subscribing on YouTube, you should. There's a link in the show notes, because we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to be doing a look behind the curtain. We're going to have you join us live on YouTube while we record our podcast. You'll be in the background, and you'll have a chance to comment as we go and let us know what fools we are or more. And you can do that for free just by watching. You can plug in your comments, or if you want to get above all else and definitely be read on the air, we can have super chats. Those cost you anywhere from $1 on up, and that's not a big deal, and it helps us keep the show on. And don't forget, there's a link in the show notes if you want to help keep the show going, because hosting costs money, gear costs money, etc., etc., etc. But point being, we appreciate you, we loved having you, and I think it's time we went to paradise, don't you think?
Sounds great. So here we are, headed to paradise. Sisko and Miles are exploring. They find an interesting M-class planet, and so they start doing some scans, and they find that there's some life forms down on the planet. And so they can't quite. They are humans. They can't get a reading, but they believe that they are from a lost colony from some time back, and so they decide that they're going to beam down to the planet to make contact to rescue these
Right.
these people.
These wretched souls.
Those poor folks. So they beam down to the planet and then realize they can no longer contact the runabout.
Right.
They can't, thing blocking any kind of EM. It's like there's some kind of a EM field inhibitor, and they can't. Communication devices don't work.
Right.
None of their devices are working.
They can't get any reception. They can't play Candy Crush. Nothing.
Damn it!
I've never played that once in my life, but I hear it's addictive.
Yes.
I play Scrabble, and by the way, if anybody out there plays Scrabble, I'm looking for new people to play with. I'm not great, but I do okay. They find these people. They're colonists, basically. They've been there for 10 years, stranded with no means of escape, and they point a bow and arrow at them until they realize, oh, it's Starfleet. You have different uniforms. Well, geez, that's the biggest revelation anybody will make about Star Trek is you have a different show, you have different uniforms. Yeah, but so they turn out to be, it's more than a coincidence that none of their electronics work. They get back there and they realize that they've got like this chick, and I say chick respectfully, I just mean this woman. Sorry. Oh, you got to be so careful, my friend. Alexis.
Yes.
I'm not even, that's like, I thought, is that something I heard on Risa?
That's the, I think that's the porn version of Alexa.
I mean, if she Alexis, that's pretty indiscriminate. All right, my point being, she's a naturalist extremist, and she's like resents the effects technology to her mind has had on mankind. She basically says we become fat and lazy, and we just binge watch Netflix all the time. And
right, yeah. So it's like Gilligan's Island meets the Amish country, something.
Ooh. Yeah, and the skipper is a former engineer, I guess, and the Gilligan character is a thief. So there you go.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah, but she considers her tech-free community a shining achievement. Never mind that many of her followers will drop dead from simple infections because of her bullshit beliefs. And I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping through hoops here fast. If you want to tell me, to shut up.
No, it's fine. So one of my big observations was the Cool Hand Luke scene.
Yes. She should have made Sisko eat like a bunch of eggs.
Yes. Yeah.
The Cool Hand Luke.
What we have here
is a failure
to communicate. If you take too much food, you spend a night in the box.
Oh my God, that's so funny because you know who the guard was in that movie.
No.
Morgan Woodward, a.k.a. Captain Ron Tracy, a.k.a. Simon Van Gelder.
See,
bam!
It's a small world. Six degrees of separation right
blown, there. Man. You just see, this is what happens with live podcasting. So what happens? Long story short, Alexis.
Yes.
Does not like Ben. She wants Ben out of that uniform as fast as she can get him out of that uniform.
He's a natural leader, obviously, and I think she fears his ability to deconvert the converts.
Right. She's got to get him out of that leadership soapbox, and she also has to, in so doing, hopefully, kind of diminish Miles because.
Sure.
Miles draws his strength from his boss. Not that Miles is weak,
absolutely.
but he looks to Ben. So if Ben
he would follow
capitulates,
he would follow Sisko's lead. Right.
So she's all about this. I mean, there's some other stuff that goes on here, plot wise, just high points. They even try to get like one of the hotties to sleep with Ben, and Ben's like,
right.
I've been celibate for a long time.
I can make it a few more days.
I can go a few more days.
And then the nights in the box. For any of you in logistics will recognize that buckhorn or manufacturing, the buckhorn Gaylord, plastic Gaylord container that you would think that technology would have changed in 5
because those are in TNG too. Those are everywhere. The box.
those boxes are an off-the-shelf plastic Gaylord container that's used in manufacturing.
Why are you
It's
calling me
from a
this? Why do
company
you keep
called
calling me that? What do you?
it's from a company called Buckhorn.
Wait, why are they so? Well, how come they have all the kind of the fancy?
They just they're it's just an off-the-shelf item.
No,
It has
no.
all that reinforcing ribbing,
Yeah, the
so you can
ribbing.
reduce the material but maintain its structural
So
strength.
you're telling me that's not even some kind of like fancy thing the prop department made in
No,
bulk?
that is an off-the-shelf
Oh,
manufacturing and logistics item that
your
I would
your your
assume would
profession
have
is showing.
you would
Thanks
have
for killing
assumed
it.
would have changed over 400 years, but
If it works, don't fix
if
it.
yeah, that's true. If it ain't broke,
So you're saying so that's what's it called again? I'm sorry.
it's it's a it's the size of a pallet,
Oh, yeah.
40 by 48,
Have you
and
been
it
in one of
is
these things?
they call it a Gaylord is what it's called, and that's just that's a common size, so 40 by 48, usually about 40 inches
But
tall,
isn't
and
that what
they'll
Ali
use that.
G Ali G called everybody a Gaylord? So I'm not understanding why they call it a Gaylord.
So, I have no idea the
Okay, okay,
origins of
okay.
that
All right,
term,
all right.
but that's what's used for transporting lots of stuff, that's shipped in bulk in manufacturing. So bolts and screws,
So,
plastic
so
material.
here we're taking everybody out of the story for a minute. So when the prop department like cut a
Sorry,
little hole in it with a like a lid, did they just cut like a you know what I mean to lock
those are off
Cisco?
the shelf as well. They open up
What?
so
Are
you can
you kidding
access
me?
them.
So
It
somebody
just
could
yeah.
just did they at least spray paint them silver or something?
No, gray is the standard. That's the
Jesus.
standard off the shelf.
Well,
You
I'm
can
done.
get
I'm
other
out.
colors. So Alex has given up. But anyway, I say that because it threw me off because I see those things all the time in my
How can I get one? I want one for my house. No, I'm serious.
you can buy them online.
Okay, offline we're going to talk because I want one.
Okay.
And
Wait, we
can
can
I
put it in the
climb in
back.
it in my Cisco
You
outfit?
can. Yeah, you could spend the night in one.
Oh gosh,
Absolutely.
that must
Yeah.
have been miserable though. Seriously, that looked pretty hot. It's so to
Well,
me it was
hot
sold it on
and
it.
uncomfortable. I
Yeah,
mean, if you think it's 40 inches by 48 inches, so you can't fully stretch out. So your knees
wow.
are bent
And
the whole
he's a
time.
very tall man.
He's a tall man, and you're kind of in this cradle fetal position for the entire time that you're in
And it's
there.
hot.
And if you're nearing our age, then your back's going to be seizing up on you, and your hips are going to be all out of alignment. It's going to be quite uncomfortable. That scene reminded me very much of Patrick Stewart of Captain Picard when he was abducted by the Cardassian.
Cardassians? Well, he wasn't put in a box though.
He wasn't, but he was being they were trying to break him, and so it was that similar strength of character.
Oh sure, how many lights and all that. Yeah,
Exactly.
but Cisco just had to deal with the hot box.
Right, but it was yeah. I'm not going to break. I'll put myself back in the
And he wouldn't even. Here's the thing: he wouldn't do so much as roll up his sleeves.
yeah.
He was not going to take off his jacket. And then when he fell to his knees when he was going to climb back in, and O'Brien's like, "Can I help him?" He's like, "Nope." He's shaking his head silently, and then he just climbs in and pulls the lid closed.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
badass.
that was a badass scene. Yeah, that was while he was in there, he shaved his head.
He should have because that was badass. He was a
Yeah.
bad MF on that thing, man.
So I did love that scene.
Yeah.
That the Alexis character. I mean,
Ugh.
it reminded me of a number of people.
I imagine so because it sure reminded me of some people.
Yeah, but that trying to break you and trying to break people through people you care about, but still pretending to be doing it for the greater good.
Yeah, well,
And
there's a whole lot of that. Going
so
on.
there are religious and political figures that I'm sure molded her that actress's technique.
And she did a great job because I hated her guts
Yeah.
almost from
Exactly.
moment one. She was running.
Yeah.
And we should finish this off, by the way. So Miles, another great Miles episode too.
Oh yeah.
He breaks free, strips down to his skivvies, he saves the day, finds an EF, buffer,
the restrictor buffer,
whatever,
yeah.
and he stops that, and of course you got a nice little bit, by the way, of the gorgeous ladies of Star Trek up in the heavens, tracking down
that's
the
true.
Mekong.
They have to find the
Was it the Mekong?
The runabout.
The
yes.
runabout, whichever one.
So someone had beamed on the vessel, erased all the
perfunctorily
stuff.
tried to erase everything. Didn't know what they were erased. They didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, and then set it up,
And
warped it
cut
to
it
the heart of the sun, but it didn't go right. They were stupid,
It bounced off
so
something.
you got our favorite. You got Kira and Dax. And by the way, at this point in the past few episodes, I'm missing me some Kira and Dax, but so it was good to see them. And they are like, okay, we're gonna lasso this sucker. And there was a nice little subplot there. It was good. I won't go into it. It was fun. You ought to watch it. But the point being, they get the EMF generator turned off. I keep saying EMF like it's that 90s dance band. EMF, is that the KLF? I don't know. Anyway, they get that turned off, and then all of a sudden, O'Brien's got himself a working phaser. And that little shit that is Alexis's son has been put in his place and clapped in irons. And they come back and they shoot. O'Brien just shoots the lock off of the. What is this thing called again? The Gaylord?
Yeah,
I mean, he shoots that Gaylord, man, and knocks it off, and then gets Ben out, and they give him some of those fruit roll-ups and some water, and he's
ready to go. He's ready to fight,
and he's all like, and this is what's funny is Kira, on the communicator, and she's like, "Are you all right?" Well, it's like that's a little on the nose. How do you? I mean, why would you wouldn't say, "Are you all right?" You would just say,
"Are you?"
Are you
ready? Do you need to beam up?
Mekong to Sisko. Do you anyway? It doesn't matter. So this is where it was good, is that all of a sudden they realized, and what I love, by the way, is the quality of the extras on this one, because you get a pan around all these extras when it's clear that they've been lied to by Lixus, and she has her little speech, and she's like, so and Joseph and so. Then she looks at the guy who stole something. She goes like, "And you'd be in prison by now." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you have no idea. He might have stolen simply because you're a pain in the ass, and he wanted a candle so he could read one of your shitty books at night, and you locked him in a Gaylord." I mean, it was just like, I watched that and I was like, that is almost comical. That line almost ruined the whole episode for me. And Steven, you would be in prison by now. Oh, please. That was terrible. Yeah. But then they're all like, okay, we're going to beam you all up. And then this is funny from O'Brien. Yeah, we can beam up the whole colony in 2 little runabouts. It's great. And I'm like, okay, that's bullshit. You really can't. There's only 2 at a time. And there's like 30 of them. But okay, whatever. And they're like, oh, Miles. Joseph, who he brained with a rock earlier, or his fist or whatever, because he can do it where he just turn away. I can do it where you won't feel it. Anyway, and he's like, Miles, you don't understand. We know she's a horrible shrew who got a lot of us killed.
But she turned us on to tiny house living.
So we're gonna stick around here. And I was like, okay. And they're like, okay, fine, but she's going, and so is her little shit son, and we're gonna beam up, and we'll deal with this. And so they beam up, and then Joseph's like, come. And I'm like, where are you going? You're going to go sit in your hot, unair-conditioned cargo ship, or are you going to all get in the Gaylord? But anyway, they all disappear except for 2 kids staring where the crew had transported up from. They're just staring with these ridiculous looks on their faces. It was a little on the nose.
Right. Yeah. I've never seen a transporter before.
Right. And it was like, this generation's like, oh, we kind of like to go somewhere that has Netflix and chill. And I'm just, but I found that stupid. And I found some other parts of it kind of dumb. And that was a dumb moment. I mentioned earlier the extras. They pan over the extras. There's one extra, and he's in like a big straw hat. And he's literally, I'm making this face so Brian can you see me, buddy?
Yeah, I can see you.
And he's like wide-eyed goober, like I don't know, it's bad. I can't even describe. It's like it was like Dorothy seeing the man behind the curtain, but it was like done like for Mystery Science Theater. It was really not good. So I gotta say, this episode I liked a lot. I thought that Alexis was good because you hated her instantly and realized what she was pretty quickly. I thought that was good. I love seeing Brooks or Ben show his steel. I like Miles being the inventive, creative guy he is. But I found that the most of the supporting cast, even Joseph, kind of weak. And the acting kind of weak on that side. Yeah. So this is an episode that stuck with me. I remember this one, but I don't remember this one. I guess I didn't remember this one being a little too poorly acted in some places, and maybe a little on the nose at the end with the kids staring. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You jump in here, buddy.
I think there were some moments. There was a great Miles moment. There was a great Sisko moment. As you mentioned, the Alexis character was played perfectly, like that cult leader-ish type person.
She was like a Jim Jones that wasn't quite as murderous.
Very manipulative. Her giving up so easily at the end, I guess she had really not much choice. Given the firepower.
She wanted to be a martyr for this cause, though. Part of me even thought, here's something. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you did this. You got me thinking. I think she almost wanted to be taken away and given the comforts of home, yet to still be a martyr. Because you know what? Prisons in the 24th century, they ain't Attica.
True.
True. She's probably got 3 hots and a cot, Netflix and chill. Probably some holodeck time. I mean, So I'm wondering. I think she just was in love with the idea of her. She's in love with the sound of her own voice, first of all, which I hated her kind of that guy's gonna. I hated that. But she was in love with the sound of her own voice, and what I love though is the way Avery Brooks played this. And maybe I'm wrong, but he just seemed like a guy who had seen this shiz before, and he just. Go ahead.
I mean, it just occurred to me. I mean, I wonder how much that we don't see of him having to deal with what's the Bajoran religious group.
Oh, well, you mean? Well, there's lots of them. What do you mean, like the Pa-Rays, the bad ones?
The
Pa-Rays are the bad ones. You're going to see those soon.
No, I meant the other ones.
The prophets. I mean,
the prophet.
Oh.
No, well, not the prophets themselves. The
religion around the prophets.
Right. Yeah, like the Kais.
Well,
So like Kai Wen, who has a tendency to use religion as a means to a political end, or as a means to a personal end. And so that was the point I wanted to make.
And you just fired off some. Where does the Gaylord come in? This is buckhorn. You keep saying
Gaylord is the type of container. It's just a bulk storage container. The nickname in the industry is a Gaylord. There's a cardboard version of it that's called a Gaylord.
So
it's a quantity.
This looks like an extra duty box that Sisko has put in, and 48 by 45, and
about 20 up to 40 inches tall.
Yeah, it can hold like.
It depends on
an S.
The lids are so separate.
Well, I'm seeing like a little hand. There's a lid you can buy, but there's also like a little door on it, like you're showing. Oh my God! So the prop department did not spend hardly.
Yeah, they didn't paint it. They didn't do anything.
These are like $350. Well, maybe the little yellow and blue accents got painted. Big deal. Oh my God! These can capacity of 2,000 and 2,500 pounds. They collapse flat in seconds and stack for storage in paradise. Are extra good at sweating out Siskos. I cannot believe this. I never found this on the Buckhorn Inc.com website, folks. If you want your own box to sweat your friend out in a cosplay situation where your Sisko was caught opposing your Lixus, well, here you go. It's like $300 or $400 for one of these, I think.
Something like that. Yeah,
It's
they're
not so
available on
shabby.
Granger.
Dude, I
probably
want
find
one
a
of these.
used one on eBay if you look hard enough.
I'm gonna, you know what? If I buy one of these though, I'm seriously, I'm gonna have to cosplay this. I don't even cosplay, but I'm just excited that I would have to do so little work on this thing.
Yeah, it's getting it to the convention. That would be the tough
Well,
part.
dude, I could just do it at home though. I could just shoot this in my backyard, and I don't even have to be in it. It's just a picture of this thing in my backyard locked up, and I'll be like, this is me cosplaying Sisko being held by Lixus.
Yes, and just get a librarian or something to stand next to it.
Oh yeah, a real Skullmarmy, a scold type. You know, I got to say something though about this. And this episode, teleplay was by Jeff King and Richard Manning with Hans Beimler. Story by Jeff Trombetta and James Crocker, who did a lot of stuff with him, and directed by Corey Allen. But the actress who played Alexis, if you hate her, it's not her, it's her performance, and she did a great job. Gail Strickland. Now, but also what's interesting to me is Julia Nixon, who came on to Sisko. She played Cassandra. God, she's 60 now. Can you believe it? We all get older. But she was on Babylon 5. I saw her on that. And she was considered, ready for this, for the role of Tasha Yar on TNG.
Oh, wow.
She's probably best known for co-starring with Pierce Brosnan, Eric Idle, and Peter Ustinov in the 1989 television version of Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, and for appearing with Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, ready for this, First Blood Part 2. That's where I first saw her. But I remember her most, and I knew this, as Ensign Sue in TNG, the Arsenal of Freedom episode. And I think that was season 1 of TNG. But Julia Nixon, so nice to see her. But Gail Strickland... Remember, folks, if you hate the character of Alexis, it's because Gail does such a freaking great job. She's right up there, my friend. Can you ready for this? Who's she right up there with in DS9?
On the people that you hate, you love to hate?
On characters you hate, but because the actor is so good at portraying a character you should hate.
Ducat?
Yes, although but that's not.
But you love him, then hate him at the same time.
Right? No, it's because I never loved this character, Kai Wynn.
Yeah.
She's as good as Louise Fletcher in my regard for Kai Wynn.
And Fletcher is an Oscar winner.
So if you don't like that, put that in your,
pipe and smoke it.
Put it in your orb and smoke it in your wormhole. Cha-cha. That's all I can tell you.
All right.
So I'm going to give this some laudanum. Last time I think you led with laudanum. So I think Paradise, and going into this before I rewatched it, knowing it was coming up, and I was excited because we had 2 tickets to Paradise, and I'm not going to use that joke again because we've used it like for 3 episodes. I was going to give this one about four bars of latinum, but hold off, clinky, wherever you are, stop. It's not that good. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a solid 3. I hate doing this. I hate doing these little incremental things, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give this in 3.5. I'm going to 3 bars, and 5 strips of latinum for Paradise.
Okay. I'm going below that. I'm gonna I'm gonna go 1 bar for Sisko, 1 bar for Miles, and 1 bar for Alexis, and nothing else.
Straight up 3 bars.
Straight up 3.
Wow. So you're saying that this episode's not as good as Whispers, huh?
Because Whispers, there was so much character there, and you solved my key problem I had with the episode.
Oh, because of what our little girl's made of with the original series.
Exactly. Where this one,
glad I could help.
There's no accounting for
taste
for the bad secondary actors. And
you need to go look up that dude with the straw hat. So moving.
So yeah, so it's a good episode. It was a character developing episode. It didn't, but it I don't think it built so much of the long play on the story line.
Yeah.
It didn't build so much on the relationship between
Right. Yeah.
Sisko and O'Brien.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot for me other than it showed Sisko's strength of character,
Right.
and then the Alexis character reminded me of why I don't like those, some of those religious types. And then, Miles did, he kind of saved the day with his persistence, and I did enjoy that. And some cunning, and I think some of the Cardassian Wars training came back
right, yeah.
to save his life,
Yeah, I was going to say there's no Cardassians here, but I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to tell you something. I'm excited about next time. I'll tell you why real quick, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 reasons why I'm excited about next time. Are you ready for this? The first reason is, and I'm not going to explain it now. You have to remind me, and I'll explain it when we cover it. First reason, Kenneth Tobey. Second reason, Robert Hewitt Wolf. And third reason, I get to hang with my buddy Brian.
There we go.
When we bring you next week our discussion of Shadow Play.
And until next time, the docking ring is closed.